This is it. This is the start. You ready?
Oh, I thought you were gonna play the music.
Oh,
Yeah,
of course, yeah.
Oh, no, I just. Hey! Welcome to Two Guys, a Guy, and a Podcast. We are a couple of guys talking with another guy whose dad hit him with a brush as a kid about the what, when, and the whys in our lives. I'm your host, a guy whose dad hit him with a brush as a kid, and with me tonight, as always, our co-hosts Aaron and Wesley. How are we doing tonight, gentlemen?
Hey, welcome.
So how's that for we're starting the day's show talking about some mild child abuse. I know you guys heard about this from when I was younger.
Was it mild?
Child justice. Or is it parent justice?
Justice.
I
I
believe
was such a piece of shit.
the term now is called child grooming because he was trying to brush your hair.
Yes, with the brush, yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not just my hair. It was
Your face.
Yeah, my dad had a he thought it was a game. He called it Mr. Brush.
Yeah.
It was
Did
what
he really call it
called
Mr. Brush?
He did. He called
Did
it
he?
Mr. Brush.
Seriously? Wow.
And
So what would
he
he
did.
say? He'd be like, so I see you got some bad grades. Do I need to introduce you to Mr. Brush?
Brush.
No, that's like the worst part. It wasn't about an actual serious punishment. It was always like him trying to joke and play around, but it was literally him just hitting me in the head with the brush, which obviously I didn't
The
like.
head? He chose the head of all places?
Yeah. For Christmas, he'd get you Mr. Bucket, and then for after Christmas, he'd get you Mr. Brush. Now, something similar happened to us when we were kids. My father
We
had
grew up in the 90s, boys. We all got hit.
he had made like Homer Simpson taking the tree branch that was struck by lightning and then milling it into his own bat. He had made his own paddles, these long looking boat oar things. Had even carved speed grooves, he called them, into it, and then he stained it like he was working on some fine piece of furniture. And then
is this BJ?
No, but it's in that realm. Yeah, burned into the handles, the names of each paddle, because there was 2 paddles, one for each of us, and then had a leather strap and tied it to the wall. Like,
So was this called the Dark Ages for Lisa, where she was just dating black guys, or what?
I think
Shit.
the thing is, I think they were maybe used once and then they were discarded. I don't think it's a
That's
proud
great.
thing.
Prototype, he was just refining his work.
Oh, yes, for the next family that he
A proud
just
display
experiments.
of your child abuse.
You two little soft boys, I'm gonna punish you with this little here.
Yeah.
Well, I always remembered with the brush thing, the most horrifying instance was when he did it with Anthony in the car. And he was like, "Do I need to get Mr. Brush?" And I was like 15 at the time.
With your friend in the car.
And I was like, "Dad, like, don't, please.
Somehow
is
you had more
ridiculous."
tact than he did in that instance. We have
And he
company,
did it.
Dad.
He went through and did the
Didn't
whole
care.
thing. So then Anthony got to laugh at me for the next 20 years because obviously it's still brought up because my dad made that decision. I'm like, look, you don't have to live with this for the rest of your life, but you're literally doing it with my friend in the car.
Do you think he was in that mentality where, as an older person and an adult, you're kind of proud to embarrass your child, or he's just a piece of shit? He was just going through his piece of shit phase.
Column A, column B. I think he was doing it for laughs, like, but also just maybe a little bit of malice behind it. I don't know. Hard to tell.
Toughy.
Hard to tell. Yeah. What about you, Wes? Did you ever get a
Oh
a
yeah,
good
I got
slapping
hit with
or a
brush.
kicking?
I got hit with.
Spatula.
Well, the thing is, I was very active. I had a lot of energy very young, so I would just run away from any sort of punishment. Right. But what I didn't realize is that I thought the chase ended after she couldn't catch me.
Yeah, exactly. That's
But
child
however,
logic.
I still lived in the same house.
Yeah.
She knew where I sleep, so it kind of was inevitable for me to get hit anyway. So
She
she played the long game.
knows where I
Was that your that
You
was your
wake
mom?
up in the
That was
middle
your
of the
mom who
night.
did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. Okay.
ass.
My mom was
beaten red.
always. My mom would never do that. She was very, very much
Well, like the dad
touchy
would,
feely huggy.
he would always threaten. He would never do, but
Mm.
my mom would.
Well, you have an Asian mom too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I think that's the difference is
Correct.
we didn't, you know. So I think that the Asian mom is much more
superior mom.
Home discipline.
superior mom, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep your grades above a B.
Yeah, I don't know. I always think about with Alice, like we spank her.
For fun.
Yeah, for fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
just whenever we feel like it, you know.
Mhm.
Does it bother you that it might like just so happens that it might like cause her to have like some sort of sexual kink with slapping or spanking at the end of the day?
Yeah, but I don't.
No, because at
don't.
that point, literally everything that you do will
Right?
cause
that, like, kinda
cause
shapes-
something.
Right?
Yeah.
What are you
That's
doing
accurate, right?
now?
Isn't
What
that
are you
accurate
doing?
that happens?
I don't think that is accurate. I think
Okay.
that I mean, you could say thing with like an oral fixation with sucking thumbs, or like there's a lot of
I
different.
mean, what are you getting at?
I'm just saying, like when we. Yeah,
I can imagine
I'm saying I
how
sucked
many
my thumb a lot when I was little, Wesley. Like,
parenting
what the fuck do you
books.
want from me?
He's had an aura
No, yeah,
fixation.
we were all weird kids. Like that's just how it works. I sucked my thumb when I was a kid.
I don't remember. I don't remember sucking my thumb. I definitely
I
don't
never
remember
did.
it was one of the things where, like, oh, you need to stop sucking your thumb. You're getting too old. I wet the bed late. That was my like what I remember.
How late?
Oh man, I was like 10 or
30.
10
Yeah,
or
it seems
12.
a little bit late. I don't remember
It's a
if
little-
I did.
It's a little late, but I mean, you can chalk that up. You know, there's studies on it. There's something about if your life is miserable and your parents hate each other, something.
Yeah,
Well, it's
too
like when a
makes you
dog
wet-
is
makes you wet
scared,
the
right?
bed
Like
more.
they just
Yeah.
pee because they don't really
Yes.
understand what's going on.
Exactly. That's what
So
I would
every
do
time
too.
you went
Someone
to
would start
sleep,
yelling, and I would just like shake, and then I would pee in a corner.
every
Like,
dream
what
was
the fuck are you
a.
doing? Like, I don't know. You're scaring me.
I don't know how
though.
to
Can't
deal
you
with this
see I'm
emotionally.
anxious?
Sorry, I don't have your emotional spectrum, Dad. I'm just a kid.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Like, come on. Look, I know we're having a conversation, but you're an adult. Oh man.
You built up a
All
defense.
right. Well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, great way to start out. Thanks. Yeah, so
Child
let's go
abuse, it's
ahead.
great.
Yeah, child abuse. Let's move on. So we here at Two Guys, One Guy like to bring up what is going on in the world and then not address it at all because that's, I don't know, well, let's not deal with that. Let's just have some fun instead. But today, this week, I wanted to talk about layoffs. So
Ooh.
recently, there's been a big rash in the gaming industry, which all of us are game aficionados, beginning
That's
in
true.
2023 and continuing into this year, where 10,000 jobs were lost in 2023 across industries. And just in the last 4 months, 9,500 jobs have been lost for 2024. So these are just companies taking wings off, indie studios closing down, reducing. They had that big, I know, WoW, Blizzard, they had a bunch of people that left. There was that whole...
Yeah, that was because of
the
Cosby.
Well, no, this is like this, yeah, that's because of Cosby. It's like, no, he's caught. We're all good. But there was another big layoff. There was like what other game industry was it? But there's just been a lot of layoffs.
The big ones.
So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about. And so I thought we'd have a discussion on histories with layoffs. So I would like to ask the question: have any of you been fired or laid off from a job before?
Fired or laid
No, I
off?
have not.
Really? Isn't that crazy? In like all your time, you've never been fired or laid off from a job. That leads me to think, what did these guys do to deserve the layoffs? Like, let's say
It's a tech company.
you have 10. Do you know people who got laid off or fired?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, did they deserve it?
I think tech companies.
Well, the whole point of the layoff, the whole layoff term is to essentially, it's like a soft served fire. Like we have no use for you. Your position's obsolete. You're gone. That's
Yeah,
all it
but
is.
if they liked people, they could move people around.
But it's
and,
not about
hard
liking people.
workers.
It's about
No?
business.
No, it's not.
So many companies companies are in bed with other companies and get money. They just hand their money off to each other, and when they see it fit to just cut an expense, they'll do it.
That's one. It's a possibility, but usually the I'm pretty sure the standard definition of a layoff is that the company can no longer afford that position. It's not that they don't have not having the position is usually a trick that some departments will use to get a piece of shit or dirtbag fired, but usually it's they can't afford people anymore. I can't remember what it was. I was watching the Act Man, and he talked about game industries, and there was some game that had like a huge $200 million budget kind of thing, even though it was their first game ever released.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
And it flopped terribly, and immediately after it released, I think they laid off half the company and then furloughed.
Hopefully it was Mass Effect Andromeda, whoever worked on that.
No, it's something that came out recently. Something came out really recently.
Yeah, Eternium or Avarice,
something like that.
Eternium,
yeah, like you've never heard of it, and it has this huge 6-digit or 4-digit budget, maybe 5-digit.
Yeah, but whose fault is that, right?
I mean, 7-digit. Whose fault is that? I mean, that's a whole nother different topic, but it is kind of related to what you're talking about, is that AAA studios are primarily the people laying off people right now. And that video kind of goes hand in hand with this, because what he was saying is that these businesses learned that video games were such a huge market to invest into, because there's articles left and right about how games have made more money than Hollywood.
Which is why everything is worse, by the way, for
partially
gaming, is because someone heard that you can make money with it.
Exactly.
That ruined everyone else's fun.
Yeah, it turned from a piece of art that small, like in the past, AAA studios were the AA and indie studios. He mentioned how like World of Warcraft was created by 40 people, and Helldivers 2 is created by like 90 people, not 90, maybe like 200. Meanwhile, that piece of shit game that no one played, it was made by like 900 people. Or no, Diablo 2 or 4 was made by like 9,000 people, and it's a pile of shit. Right. So
yeah,
because
that sounds about right.
And
was that too many cooks in the kitchen?
Too many chiefs, 100%. Not enough Indians, and too many cooks in the kitchen. And
Native Americans.
Yeah. Same with the movie industry. You have these top producers and investors that want to have a say in something that they don't know the baseline bare shit minimum of how to make it good or successful, and they just have their injections that they want to put into the product, and then they want an investment on return. So most of the production line is being spent on flipping for cash grabs. That's why we get all these shitty like pre-orders and loot boxes and battle passes rather than content fulfilled.
Well, to that point too, like when Baldur's Gate 3, when they won all those awards, I don't remember who it was, but
Lariat.
someone who no, Larian Studios, but the people that were accepted the award, I couldn't tell who they were exactly, but one of them gave a speech essentially saying like, yeah, we don't have any shareholders and we don't need them. Like essentially saying like, you guys saying out loud to the gaming community, it's like, yeah, you don't need to work for EA in order to make a good game. Like you could just make a good game.
And they are an independent studio. They're not considered a AAA.
Yep.
Right.
They don't have
look they won
million.
every single award in the 3 biggest award shows of video games. Like they won them all.
No in-game purchases. They put their mission
not
statement
even any
up
DLC,
front.
dude. They're like, DLC.
Yeah.
We're not going to do it. Here's the game.
They don't care. They
just
believe,
literally dropped the mic.
And that's what it takes to make a good game now. And when they don't do that, I think the industry's starting to learn that they can't just pump out garbage and expect everybody to just empty their wallets the moment it drops. So, and they're losing a lot of money, and so that's where the layoffs are coming from. You got these companies with 9,000 people where 8,000 of them have no voice. They don't even know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah, but a lot of the times these layoffs, when you hear them in like tech industries or like gaming industries, they're not, they can afford the people. It's just that the stock price will go down and they need to get rid of them for investors, right? That's the
I would
whole
assume,
that's
yeah,
the whole idea.
because that's
Is
the
like,
whole point, is to
oh,
make money.
Walmart needed to lay off, 10,000 people, and then okay, well, how much did Walmart make last year? $4.1 billion, like profit they made. It's like, okay, they could afford those people. It's just they wanted to appease someone,
Right, because
so that's what I imagine is the.
they didn't build that industry to have those people. They're not a team. They're a factory, and they were just tools used to get the product out. And now that they got the product out, they can cut it in half or even more so, and then just do the maintenance on it and small updates. Because it's an investment. It's not a passion project for them.
Yeah.
Right.
But it doesn't
Well,
mean that these people aren't getting work somewhere else. I mean, if out of all the people that get laid off, they could all form their own teams. They could all get picked up somewhere else. Maybe it's just more of a gig economy at this point.
That's the thing too, is that like people don't really know what goes into making those games and how much overtime and how much sacrifice the people who actually work on that stuff do. I remember listening to a guy who worked at Blizzard, and he talked about how much he was overworked and how underpaid. He was roughly paid 30% less than the average of his position, and he left and went to work for a different studio. And essentially, he kind of had that. He still had that anxiety of like having to push and overproduce. And when he didn't feel like he felt inadequate to the task. And he told the story of like he went to his boss and was like, "Yeah, I don't feel like I'm getting much accomplished here. Like, I don't know what to do about it." And the guy told him, he's like, and he also worked for Blizzard. And he was essentially saying, like, "Yeah, you guys, we were overworked and underpaid for what
Right.
we did. And that feeling that you have is normal. Don't think that you're doing something wrong. You just are used to
Horrible
a rate
condition.
of work and underpay that working here is out of your element. It's difficult for you
right.
to comprehend." And when he understood that, he was like, "Yeah, just take the rest of the week off, come back, and let me know how you feel." And that's what he did. And he didn't regret it at all. So it's those studios, they're, like you said, they're like a conveyor belt of products, and they constantly produce in order to stay relevant and in the spotlight. So,
Overworking
and that
is
doesn't necessarily mean that what they're producing is actually of any good quality. It
no.
just means that they're producing, and you can anticipate a product. And when you anticipate, you kind of have, it's like that you just want to have it. You're like, oh, the new phone, like the new game the new WoW expansion's coming out. I gotta have it.
Pre-order, 3-day early release.
One a
Exactly,
year, twice a year.
I
It
need
hits-
it now.
There's something psychological about it because it hits that dopamine hit. You get that dopamine hit when you hear it. New game's coming out. Oh shit, what is it? What studio? Oh shit, it's them. Oh my god, I gotta have it.
Right. And overworking
Mass Effect
is
Andromeda. I was like, oh my god, I loved all three of the games, and then lo
I
and behold,
can't. I
it was a
can't
total
wait to
piece of
spend
trash.
$60 on this.
Yeah.
overworking's
terrible.
part of that. It's a part of the same industry that has these huge overbloated studios with the wrong motives. And it can happen in independent studios, but it really depends on usually the leader,
Sure.
how
I think
passionate
you can
they
give me
are.
whatever I got last
What?
time. Yeah.
Wesley?
Yeah.
Oh, he muted himself. It depends on what they're doing, what their goals are, and if they have a too big of a scope, maybe, or too big of a time crunch because they're trying to push for a certain release date. A lot of companies try to meet these expected dates of release, which is good for business. But if you're trying hard to do, say, like a Christmas release or something, or release before another big launch, then you're going to run into those problems.
I just feel like it's bloat. When you get too many people, there becomes too many checks and balances. If anyone's ever worked in a large company before, just getting something done can feel like a chore. It's like for the military, you just the bureaucracy of it. I need this thing. Okay, we'll fill out these 2 forms, wait a week, then this other group needs to approve it. I'm sure once you get to that 9,000 group of Diablo 4 employees, like what the shit are I don't know anything about game design, but I'm pretty sure 9,000 people,
It's too
even
much.
if there was only half of those people working on an actual like coding and game, that still seems just absurd. The amount of like checks and balances and bosses and double checkers and all this stuff that would be unnecessary.
It's too refined of a filter.
There was
little drops and little drips.
There was a guy doing an interview in that video I was watching, and he was mentioning how in his time of working on products, he could walk over to the desk of any of his coworkers and it could be done in 45 minutes. And now it could take 2 weeks to get a change or an update in code because
right, yeah, exactly.
You're talking to someone that's working completely different hours in a completely different building in a completely different state, who's got 3 bosses above them and the 3 bosses above you, and they need to have a meeting about it, and then the red tape grows longer and longer, and then the product gets harder and harder to make. You would think with the bigger, it's almost like the more lanes on the freeway. You go, well, if there's more lanes on the freeway, there'll be less traffic, right? It's like, not really. People are just going to spread out and still get fucked in the ass by trying to change lanes and change speeds. It just happens.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't seem like a sustainable model when you have that many people involved, because like you were saying, there's just too many steps to move one foot. It's like the person working on the bracer of some guy's armor, he doesn't even see the full picture. He's just seeing that one thing he has to work on,
right.
That one task. He's like, I got to complete this task. It's like, what is it for? It's like, it's a bracer for this guy. Who is it? I don't even know. I got to do it.
Could very well be the case. And that could cause more problems. Maybe you want a little more on individuals' plates. That way they have more agency, a little more oversight, and they can see the bigger picture better. I don't know, but it's been, if this goes hand in hand with the layoffs, we've seen year after year for the last several years, AA studio games, basically smaller companies with smaller budgets, just knocking shit left and right out of the park. Meanwhile, AAA studios with the big budgets and the big plans,
just fuck them.
Just absolutely.
I hope they all fail.
Bombing from Redfall,
honestly,
Back for Blood.
When I first
Starfield.
saw this, I was like, good.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Like, I want them all. I want the money to be gone. Like, I don't want anyone to make money on this anymore, so that people who love games play them and make them, and it becomes an actual, like, a fun thing instead of this soul-sucking money drain that it's turned into.
It's terrible to see, but sometimes you get those little wins.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. There's great stuff that comes up. There's also terrible indie stuff.
Game of the year what was the last 3 years of Game of the Year? It was like Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, Baldur's Gate 3. For some reason, I want to say probably Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know. It probably sounds like something.
Yeah, what was last year's? Because Elden Ring was 2 years ago, right?
No, Elden Ring was
Elden Ring last?
Let's see, 2023, January? Baldur's Gate, 2022, Elden Ring, 2021. It Takes Two. I mean, it's not a bad game, but I don't know.
It Takes Two, baby.
I mean, it's an okay game, but 2020, Last of Us Part 2 won Game of the Year in 2020.
That makes sense. So there you go, Elden Ring, then Baldur's Gate.
Sekiro, 2019, yeah, well,
Good stuff.
More power to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, kind of in line with this too, especially with the layoffs. What's your guys' opinion on the best way to tell someone they're fired?
Straight up, man. Straight up.
Text.
You're done.
Like, you gotta
done.
like at
Don't even
least
give him an
eye contact,
excuse,
right?
Send
I
him
just
a
want
text.
no. I just want like a hammer and a thing on the desk. You're fired. And
It's
that's
just a
it.
ceramic statue of themselves.
I always love hearing that story. It was like when Elon Musk, I think it was X or maybe it was SpaceX,
formerly known as Twitter.
But
Yeah.
when people
You have to say
formerly
that
known
every
as Twitter,
time.
yes, thank you, formerly known as Twitter, when people they came out with the reports that people just couldn't log in to the system, or like they tried to get into the office and their card wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's great.
And then
He laid off like
Well-
40% of his
Is that-
workforce there.
Is that for real?
Yeah, it
He
was like
just laid
someone
him
put
off.
the-
yeah, it was
enormous
something.
number.
It was something recently. I think it was Elon Musk, but it was essentially, it wasn't even an email or a call or anything.
Nope.
It's just, if you can't get into the offices, you don't have a job anymore.
It was great. That's the best.
So good.
Yeah.
Wow. No,
I don't know if there's the other reason why I asked is that my current work, there was a conversation about when do you, like so and so just left on a Tuesday.
Okay.
And I looked at their name and they're just gone. And I had talked to the person previously and they were not planning on leaving. So I had asked someone like, "Hey, is this person gone?" Like, "Oh, yeah, I guess so." And
Yeah, who
I had always
knows?
heard the best time is like on a Friday. And I heard
Yeah.
that from, I'm pretty sure, Office Space, because that's what I base all my information on for HR.
It's accurate.
Which is you fire them on a Friday so that you don't have to deal with them at work and they kind of have the weekend to cool off before they pick up their stuff on Monday or something like
tactical
that.
firing.
Tactical firing, yeah. But I
Yeah.
don't know about just cold call or just, your card doesn't work.
You text them and you put "you're fired," lol, and then they're
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Do
right,
it on a Friday.
exactly.
as they get home.
You're fired. It was your fault. This is, just like we fired you because you're not good enough. That's the reason why.
Man,
I don't know. I don't know how I would like to hear it, but
I wonder how easy it is to fire people at different jobs.
it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to
It
be
is
hard
hard.
because you have to have reason
'Cause-
behind it, or they can sue you. And there's like,
Yep. Wrongful
Right.
termination
The,
lawsuits exist.
Of all the crappy employee stories I hear, it's usually in a more of a
It's
state.
always theft.
Yeah, it's
It's
usually
that I
super
see.
hard to fire these people in whatever organization it is, and they need to have a mile-high stack of HR recordings and reports and talks and counseling.
Even
and-
stuff that you think that someone would be fired for, they don't get fired. I remember someone literally punching a window, breaking it because someone pissed them off, and they were not fired. Just punched it.
like
Was
what?
this
An exterior
Does that
window,
work?
a car window.
Just-
at work?
No, it was like a
Office?
door window, and they just punched it.
In the store?
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, it wasn't
And
fired.
they didn't get fired.
And he
That's
is
a union
is-
job. That's a union job.
Union.
That adds a whole other layer, doesn't it?
I don't know, does it?
Union, state,
I would imagine
government.
that it would. If I punched a wall in the office, I would be fired. There's just no way. What would the conversation be? Well, so what happened? It's like, no, it doesn't matter. You punched a hole through a wall.
He said that he fucked my mom, and when I heard that, I got so furious that I punched the window. Like, what do you want?
Is that
from me?
what
No,
happened?
That's not what happened. No, that's not what happened. Some guy was just talking shit about how he was working, and he got so upset that he punched a glass door, broke it, and he was not fired.
Wow.
And he is a like so many people knew like he was totally under the influence all the time.
So
Oh my
high or drunk?
God.
High.
Oh.
Looked like a tweaker, dude. He looked like he was on like meth or crack or something.
There's
Some
some
powder.
there's some jobs I don't care if you're high, but there's some jobs where it might matter. Like if you're a forklift operator,
Specifically a forklift. Why is that? I knew you were gonna say forklift operator because that's like the standard. Well, you can't operate forklifts.
Dude,
if
have you
do
seen
X.
those like
Have you seen
videos
guys that
of
operate
fucking up a
forklifts?
forklift job?
Oh,
Like, dude,
yeah, those
they
videos are great.
They reduce a company's inventory to 0 in one move. It's hilarious.
I was
so
on
fucking
I got to see a pretty good one on the ship. They were loading up supplies and someone had lifted the forklift up too high and they were going up a ramp and it was soda and it lifted up too high and they weren't paying attention and just kept
And a
driving.
bunch of African
and
children spilled out of it and you're like, what the hell's going on here?
Wow.
Oh geez. But yeah, it's just spilled soda just everywhere and people were like yelling at him, but then it's just like sprays and it was popping from the pressure and it was awful. But
Do you think it's better to fire someone quickly or with like a thorough talk through?
There's got to be
In
has
person?
to be a
Does it have to
gradient
be in
here.
person? Because
If
usually
you've
I think
been
it has to be
working
in
at the
person.
job for over than like 5 years, I say that deserves like a sit down with a coffee.
Mm.
With a coffee?
Like a whole conversation about why it's happening.
How long does the conversation need to be?
However long they want.
Coffee and a
like
cigarette?
that would be my
They?
like whoever's being fired.
However, what if they say till I'm 65 and I can retire?
People don't look. That's the kind of stuff that's on some like movie or somewhere. Like people, if you fire someone, even if you have without reason, but I'm pretty sure they're probably just without reason. Well, if you have reason, they're probably a piece of shit anyway, right?
Usually.
You tell me, Mr. Firer. You seem like you want to fire someone.
I never fired anyone.
You look like you want to fire someone, though.
I've never fired
See it
I
in
anyone.
your
would want to
eyes.
fire some
Look at
people. I would fire people. People deserve.
at 'em.
Some people deserve to be fired. Some people
Yeah.
I
don't
agree.
get fired just because it would cost money to fire them, but they still deserve to be fired.
There is that
100%.
cost analysis where they think it costs more to hire a new person and train them rather than deal with a person who's barely doing their job,
That's
Right.
accurate.
If
if at all.
It is.
Or,
It is.
but there's fundamentally some people that are so bad at their job that they would probably save money not having that position filled at all, rather than having that person there, because they're
what
just
they could
so
do
negative.
essentially is just instead of remove the person, they remove the position.
They do that, yeah.
That's typically how it goes
Yeah.
as well.
Change the
Going in a
still
new
have to-
title,
direction. You're north. We're south. This isn't going to work out.
change the position that puts them on
The
some
wind
kind
is
of
changing. I don't know.
Yeah,
sun's
Get
a little
the fuck
high
out.
today.
get the fuck out. Yeah. There's probably not a really the best way except quickly.
fire someone.
It's
Yeah.
probably the best.
But
But
the
you know what?
best
You know what is a
answer.
good? There's always a funny way to tell someone something. Like I remember this guy. I worked with, older guy, a little heavy set, terrible bo. In fact, it was so bad that customers started to complain about it, and someone had to have a conversation. Someone had to have
Right.
the conversation because it was so bad. It was constantly every day we'd get complaints. So finally, the worst part was that it was a woman who had to tell him instead of a guy. Like, hey, bud, sorry. And I remember walking by the conversation. All I heard was, "I did take a shower today." I'm like, no, I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm
How
sorry,
do you follow
buddy.
up that? Did you use
I'm
soap?
sorry. What's
Do you have to show them one of those
Yeah.
90s training videos on how to take a shower and clean
So
your
where
body
did you
properly?
put the deodorant? Point to on the human body where you put it.
Great. Now
The
remember,
best belly
part, Wes-
button. It's not where you go.
the underarms
part,
and
Wes,
the groin.
I've had almost the same experience when I was on the ship. The only difference is that we had to order someone to take a shower.
Oh, that's
We had to
the best.
we forced them to shower.
Your superior
Like,
officer had to come in and be like, "You have to take a shower right
we
now." It's an
it
order."
was I was in charge of it was a birthing area of about 100 people, and there were so many complaints about this one guy that we wrote him and got it signed and said, you will do your laundry on these specific days and you will shower at this time. and someone
it.
had to stand watch while he showered and had to go with him
Dear
when he did
God.
his laundry.
That is
And they had
so embarrassing.
because he smelled so bad. The thing is, these people, I'm telling you,
These people.
you were in the Air Force.
Yeah.
The salt of the earth, the bottom dwellers.
Yeah.
This kid was just oblivious.
Yeah.
It was
That's
barely just
Barely
like
holding
okay,
on.
just stumbling his way through consciousness.
Motor functions
Like,
just firing.
this is the same guy that jerked off in front of a camera because like his online girlfriend. So this kid jerked off with his camera on because he thought that he had a new girlfriend. Online.
Thought that he had one? What do you mean?
Well, she
Has
had
he met her
said, "I
before?
want to watch you do it, and then I'll do it." Right?
Oh no.
And then so he got scammed. Then she said, "I'm gonna post this video on YouTube with your name unless you give me $50."
50.
So he
And
went
he did
on.
it?
He went on
Oh.
Facebook and said, "No one go to YouTube and search my name."
What?
Why would he say that?
He posted it. And then, of course,
Why would he say that?
people in his shop and on the ship saw the post.
Went to
Oh,
YouTube,
fucking
searched his
retard.
And then
name.
went to YouTube and searched his name, and we're like, "Dude, you fucking idiot!"
You're
It-
a fucking
was it posted?
retard, bro.
Did it really get posted?
He
course
did, yeah.
it
It got
did.
posted.
Oh
She
my
followed through with it.
gosh.
Chicks are vicious, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then it went up to his chief needed to know because he was at that point he was being blackmailed and he was in the military. So JAG got involved, the whole chain of command got involved, and then basically
killed the
enforced
girl.
they told they got a hold of her information
She
and
disappeared.
her IP and everything, and then was like,
course.
"You will
Love it.
will stop this, let us know," and she disappeared and the video went down.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, she disappeared, huh?
Into
well, I mean,
a Sahara desert, 6 feet under.
Yeah. To someone else's DMs, I'm sure, just
Yeah.
not his.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Probably
that
incredible.
is
bad
a
about
reason. That is a reason to
To
get fired.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't get more
He couldn't.
write-ups. Yeah, like an Article 15 at that point. Because I've seen guys get almost fired for having bad financial investments, buying stuff they
Yeah.
can't afford. Which is almost
he wanted to re-enlist and he was told no. That's what happened.
That's yeah.
He was like, I want to stay in. I need to stay in, and they were like, "Well, sorry,
You're
you didn't
lucky
do
to
good
even
enough."
get out alive.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was a honorable discharge. Because don't you? I've heard there's
Yes.
a neutral discharge, which is not
It's called other
other.
other than
That's
honorable.
the box you check when you get.
Yeah,
Right. Because you have honorable,
there's
you have neutral,
honorable,
other,
Why
other
did you
than
leave the
honorable.
military?
dishonorable,
There's like a medical discharge, and then there's
Medical, yeah.
the
dishonorable.
dishonorable. But if you get an other or a medical, it turns into an honorable discharge after 6 months. So they all fall under the same bucket except dishonorable. And
Right.
dishonorable discharges are literally you're going to prison. That's the only reason.
never
Just if you didn't
understood-
perform well, then
I never understood
Typically.
these like time frames. Why 6 months for it to turn into an honorable discharge?
there's something about it's you can only access your benefits from being in the military if you have an honorable discharge, and they take a certain amount of time so that if something else happens or comes up within those 6 months that they could take away like everything from you essentially. Because
Right.
you don't get any benefits unless you have an honorable. That's when you get all your little
This is the
perks.
perfect segue into what I didn't want to talk about, but it's really annoying me, and I want to talk about it now after hearing that. So I had to get new insurance for my truck, and so I went with AAA. I was like, I'm gonna go to AAA. You know what? They have good rep. They have a good rep. Why not?
Do they?
Yeah. they
Yeah,
do.
well,
I mean, it's an
Oh,
insurance company. How? It's an insurance company. They're all
Sure,
fucking
sure,
crooked. So I go there. I'm like, okay, well, what do we? I need insurance.
I do. I need insurance.
So he was like, okay, yeah, come on back. We'll talk about it. I'm like, okay. He's giving me the old, this is what we offer. This is what we do.
Taking his
what do you
pants
want?
off.
You went
the
to
normal
a
insurance
AAA
stuff.
building.
take.
Yeah, instead of just doing a call. Wesley's an old-fashioned man. He doesn't do that shit online.
That's what I thought.
No, I
you
tried
did
doing it
on
online. I literally tried doing it online. They're like, we don't do this online. It's like, okay.
So you had
AAA is an exclusive club, Aaron. We're just
It is a club.
lowlifes with
you had to walk
Geico.
in,
Club.
look him in the eyes, give him a firm handshake, and say, "Look, I need insurance." And he says, "God damn, I respect that. You're gonna get some insurance, son."
Yeah,
Come on, man. Let's throw the ball over.
AAA music plays, commercial. Yeah.
Sorry.
Right,
So
yeah.
there's like a new policy or whatever where you have to pay like a certain amount of your premium in order to like have insurance. So you had to pay like 40% of it for the year.
Oh, up front. Yeah.
So you're already familiar with this. And so I had to pay like $900 in order to get insurance.
Just to start it?
To start it.
Was there also handlebars
hold
to
on.
grab when you bend
Before you
over?
ask questions, let me get through. Before you start asking a bunch of fucking questions, let me talk for a minute. Jesus Christ, you guys. So I'm looking at it, I'm like, what do you mean I have to, why do I have to do that? He's like, oh, well, it's just our new policy.
He doesn't have interruption insurance.
You have to pay a certain amount of premium, blah, 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 blah. And then, are you guys still talking?
Go on, I'm
listening.
listening. Yeah,
Interrupt
premium. Yeah, go on.
It's like a good neighbor State Farm is there. Make these two motherfuckers shut the fuck up.
The State Farm is
that would actually be funny. That would be funny.
Fuck you.
So I'm like,
yeah, go on.
So I pay. So I'm like, okay. What do I get? Like, what's this all? What's the plan? Like, okay, that's pretty good. That's good. I'll get that. I'll become a member. It's already taken out. Cool. And then he's like, but you're not gonna you're not gonna be covered on our insurance for 2 weeks. There's a 2-week waiting period. I was like, what do you mean?
2-week waiting period?
So he was like, I was like, what do you mean? What's a 2-week waiting period for what? He's like, so you're not going to be technically covered under our insurance for 2 weeks. And I was like, hold on a second. So you're telling me I'm going to pay $900 to get your insurance, but I'm not going to be covered for 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Just in case you decided to go out on like a rip roaring time tonight, but not 2 weeks and a night away.
This sounds like the kind of
that's what I don't understand.
And then the next day, Wesley posts on Facebook, "Don't go on YouTube and look up my name."
Look up my insurance policy.
It's like, dude, why? Why is this a thing?
What did he say?
He's like, that's our new policy because from what they've established through their history and their 60 years of insurance most claims that are claimed on insurance are 2 weeks into getting insurance. So you have a lot of fraud,
right?
That's perpetrated during that 2-week period. So they have like a default waiting period now.
Right.
You just look at him and go like, "Oh, sir, I'm white."
He was a ginger. He was a fat ginger dude.
We're good. We're good.
Irish American.
We should
I told
be
him,
on
and
the
I was
same.
joking. I was like,
"Can you give me
dude,
the now discount?" Because
do I look like my car is already wrecked?
Button. So I told him, I was like, "Is there some sort of like magic button you could just press to just give me the insurance now?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Well, can I come back in 2 weeks and then you could just give me the insurance then? I'll give you the money then. Can we do that?"
Right.
He's like, "No."
Yeah. Why do they need the money up
I said
front?
this out loud inside their little club. I was like, "Then what the fuck am I paying for?
Yeah.
What am I paying for, man? What are you
for
doing
something
to me?"
in 2 weeks? Yeah.
Yes. What? You're holding my money in escrow for insurance? What the fuck is the point of this?
To make sure you purchase it. So you don't back out.
Whatever. Just give me the insurance. I'll buy. I haven't had an accident in 10 years. I'm fine. Okay, just give me the insurance.
That to me would be like you have my information. It's like you have my whole driving history through the DMV.
Yeah.
No claims, you know my history.
No speeding tickets.
Yeah, no claims ever.
I was like, look at my fucking activity, bro. Let me see your eyes. Look at the fucking monitor. I have no tickets, no accidents. Fucking give me the discount right now. He started laughing. He's like, "That is pretty curious that you have no fucking activity."
It is pretty. Actually, I'm a little bit concerned now.
It's
4 weeks.
4
weeks out. All right.
4 weeks. Yeah. We're gonna test this.
It's
We're gonna
too
test it to
good.
the limit.
You want to? He's like the principal from Fast Times at Ridgemont. You just got yourself another week. All right.
But I got no
the Breakfast Club. The Breakfast
speeding
Club.
tickets.
Yeah.
2 more weeks.
All right, Spicoli. That's
weeks.
another week.
Yeah.
I've got you for half the year now.
I was like, man, not my fucking luck. It's something terrible is gonna happen.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is like 1 week later, your car gets totaled, completely not your fault, but because you don't have insurance.
And it's that guy.
Like,
He fucking crashes.
I'm gonna walk into that club.
I'm
I'm gonna walk into that club, the AAA club, and go right to that fat ginger's face and punch him right in the face.
That's what they do. Yeah, it's actually they rig it so that they have people who work for them go and crash into you in those 2 weeks.
They don't get anything out of it. They just to fuck with people. It's like, well, you went AAA, do you?
It's like their initiation for any.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a hazing ritual. Yeah, we've been around for 60 years. We gotta throw one your way.
I don't.
Oh man,
just car related.
I mean, with my driver history, it's like I got like pretty good deal though. So like I'm not gonna be paying much at all.
Yeah, that's good.
Like, my history is pristine.
I pay like 30 something a month for my.
Yeah, but you don't even drive your car.
I know.
Aaron's got the old woman discount. So
my
if you
car
drive your car for less than 50 miles a month, then they give you
graham crackers.
I just drive my car to and from the park.
It's barely inoperable.
Basically, I just started keeping it
it
idle for 5 minutes, and then I go back into the house, and then I say I drove.
Put a couple mothballs under it to keep the rats.
You gotta
out.
make sure you keep that battery charged. Okay, you gotta make sure it's in good health.
Keep the fluids flowing and the rubbers lubricated. My car is old enough now that I have to get a smog check for my next registration update.
I like how like Aaron's like timelines for like things that happen to him are like just normal things that we have to deal with, but it's like a big deal for him. He doesn't do anything else. I gotta go. I don't know what it's like, but I gotta get a smog check. You know what those are, guys? The smog checks. Am I right?
That's based
Aaron's
on the
a house
age of your
husband,
car.
man.
That's based on
Aaron's
the age
a house
of your car.
husband.
Your car has to be certain,
great.
like 7 years old before you have to start getting smog. At least here in California.
Yeah, California.
Yeah, well, fuck California.
Yeah.
You know, the last time when I need to get a smog check next in Iowa?
Is that easier, harder? What's it like?
Never got one.
Because they don't have them.
Never have to. There's no smog check places
Catalytic
here.
converters.
There's not a bunch of shitty fucking storefronts like every exit that said smog check here with a little sign on it saying like California smog approved. There's none of that shit. With a little check mark. No, none of
I
that.
lived by this guy who had this like old Trans Am, and his license plate said pre-smog.
Oh yeah. There's
25
that
years,
too.
right? Is that the
25 and then you don't have to do
the
smog. So it's like 7 up to 25.
I mean, 25 years, that's not that old of a car now, right? I mean, that's a 99.
Yeah.
You could probably go out and get some, like a Mazda, like some car that's not like a Model T anymore, or like some bullshit. You could just get like a 4-door sedan from the 90s and then not get it smog.
Good. And
I have a feeling those cars probably are more expensive after 25 years just because you don't need to go through the smog process.
Smog's what, 200 maybe?
No, it's not even that much.
Oh, good.
Well, then what happens if you fail and you need a new catalytic converter?
Then
that shit's
fucked.
like $800 or some shit like that. Like, it's super expensive.
Yeah.
Well, the worst
there's
part is that
platinum in
catalytic
them.
converters are the biggest thing being stolen from cars now. It's like it used to be like
'Cause
CD
the
players
aluminum.
and purses, but now it's catalytic converters that are being stolen
Well,
from cars.
they have platinum in them. That's
Yeah,
like
platinum, that's what it
they
was.
have rare metals. Like,
And
that's
the
What do
filters
these guys know
expensive
about
ink.
rare metals?
They
don't.
just know that it.
They don't do anything with it. They just
Exactly.
take them
They
to
don't
some
do-
other
yeah,
guy that
they
Can you
do.
does.
point to, can you
Some
point to
Walter-
platinum on the
Walter
periodic
White.
table, you dumbass? Can you do that?
Yeah. They take him to the Gus Freeman that does know how to process those metals. Fucking cars, man.
Well, I got I got
Yeah.
one. I got one more little topic or little for it. What did talking about layoffs and like picking a career? What did your parents tell you when you were younger? What you needed to do to succeed? Like if you were to go out and your parents are like, oh, you need it. For me, this was always the blanket bullshit statement. I feel like 90% of our generation was go to college, not
Is it
a profession, not a pathway or what's successful or anything. Literally, just go to college and get a degree.
You were told that?
Right.
Oh yeah, that's what my parents. It was
Both your
always
parents?
don't tell sex till you're married.
Oh,
Don't have sex till you're married, and then
didn't get that.
go to college and get a degree.
Interesting.
That was
Mine
the
was,
path to success.
Mine was actually came from my dad, and he said the key to success is to emulate someone who is successful. So you take someone who is successful and you simply emulate their habits.
So you said,
let's
not you, father. Anyone?
I mean, that's what he said. Yeah.
So,
Look, the best advice you're going to get is from someone who can't probably take good advice.
Sure. Teachers are people who couldn't do it.
Right.
That's interesting.
That's why Wesley signed up for Hustler University and is now a proud Andrew Tate follower.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's fucking successful. Like, Dad, you told me to follow.
Is he? Sex trafficking is successful? Didn't he go to jail?
In his own head, he's successful. In his own jail cell.
Look, all I know is he has
he
has
rents
shirt
a lot
off,
of
he has a cigar
Bugattis.
in his mouth, and he has aviator sunglasses on all the time. So
All I know, he's a closeted gay who's lost his hair, loves chess for some reason.
Have you guys ever seen that? There's this guy on YouTube. He calls himself Bottom G.
Yes.
And it's
Yeah.
he is an Andrew Tate lookalike, but he is super gay.
Yeah, and he dances.
And so he's just he looks exactly like Andrew Tate, but he does the gayest dances around like in public, and people are like, "Is that
name?
Andrew Tate?"
I send a picture of him dancing all the time.
He calls himself Bottom G.
Oh God,
That's funny.
Yeah, it's just the super flamboyant Andrew Tate lookalike.
That is fucking hilarious.
He's in the same realm as that, like the Ricardo guy, the one with the headband on that's always like dancing and he's like whipping his head around. I think his name's Ricardo. I don't know. Popular memes.
Just one of those. Yeah, meme guy. Yeah.
My parents, as far as I recall, have never given me any kind of future advice on anything. On any career path.
Really?
Well, they were never career people. My parents were, welfare type people.
It's gotta
That's
be
why Aaron doesn't have a career.
Exactly.
Look,
all this potential, and I don't want to do shit with it.
So what do? I stay at home and I watch TV and I play with my dog. That's exactly what my mom did.
I learned to skate by even better. So. No, they didn't have. There was no college. There was no career path. There was no family business. There was none of that. It was just.
Yeah.
They maybe got me, helped me get the basics or a simple job, job interview stuff, bank account, things like that. But as far as what to do and where to do it, there was none of that. I mean.
Any of your parents teach you how to do like taxes or any like actual important shit?
Here's the thing. For starters, my dad was out.
Mine taught me to do taxes.
Yeah, my dad was. Yeah. He had lost basically on society years before I ever graduated high school, and my mother was just, if just barely a regular Joe worker. Like she was never good at any of that tax. I've never learned about taxes until I think the first time I did taxes, I went to like H&R Block or some shit like that because I didn't know better.
Oh, in person?
Yeah. She's just a regular Joe. She's not some educated person. And then I was gonna say, like, I had a stepfather's as like BJ, and but he was just an independent contractor, and that's not really something that you can just pick up. You kind of work into that, and I wasn't going to do that trade. So that's where I ended up just doing what everyone kind of else did. You just work these whatever fuck jobs that you can get right after high school. And they were fine, I guess. But
I feel like having like a dad that does a certain trade that you would get into if you had that kind of relationship. It doesn't seem like any of us really ever did.
Yeah, I didn't have a father who owned a diamond mine down in South Africa. I didn't have a father who already owned some multi-billion hotels on the East Coast.
You had a father figure, though, clearly a father figure that did windows and doors.
No.
You know, try to bring you into the business, the family business. So that
he liked me better than his son.
You had the opportunity, Aaron. That's all I'm saying. You could have been
and then he offered. I told you this. He offered me a sales position at his job.
I remember. Yeah, you told me
before, but that was already after I had a ship out date to the Air Force. So I told him, I was like. I appreciate it, thank you. He even had a walk and talk. He had a walk and talk with me. It's like, yeah, our friend's father
you're like the son that I never had. There's something about you that just
door window company.
Can't rely on any of my other kids.
Yeah, I liked them. I liked working there, but it was too little, too late. I was already moving into something bigger. I had always relied on the fact. As a kid growing up, I had always relied on the fact that I was a straight white male to be successful.
That's how you reacted. You made that observation, that third-party observation, you weirdo.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to, from my point of view.
2008.
Yeah, from my point of view.
I never thought that.
Listen, I had
fucking
poor, uneducated parents with no future prospects and I was never taught to do stock markets or investments, or there's no business. I had all I knew was that, like, demographically speaking, I was at least going to be safe at whatever I kind of tried to do. But obviously that all changed. Now it's the complete opposite. I wasn't proud of it. That's just how it was understood.
You're such a fucking piece of shit.
Hey, look.
I love you.
I didn't create it.
But what's great about that is that he's right.
Yeah, that's how it was. That was
the perfect woman who would allow him to just do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And no questions asked. Like, can I quit my job?
Right.
Sure. Just quit your job. It's fine. I got you.
Well, hey, you know what? If there's one thing I learned today, it's that as long as you're white and you're a male,
not anymore.
Safe.
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. No. Yeah, the tables have turned.
Yeah, we're on the.
Yeah,
we're under attack at this point.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's it. How are we feeling, boys? Is that we're gonna move on?
Yeah, you're the host.
Yeah. All right. Well, you can always stay for a little bit after. We're just gonna have a discussion between the three of us. But that's it for our show this week. Two guys, a guy, and a podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will be here next week,
guys,
to hopefully talk about things besides beating kids and getting fired and all that good fun stuff in our life. But thank you so much for joining. And Aaron, Wesley, thank you for being here. Everyone,
thanks for having us.
All right. Okay. I'll keep my camera on this time and not fuck it up.
Yeah, don't fuck it up.
That was good.
What I also wanted to talk about before talking about insurance, because that just fucking really annoyed me, was the Fallout show.
Oh, I was going to talk about the game I was playing.
Yeah, I've seen
could I talk about
5 episodes.
The Forgotten City? Could I tell you about that? I think Wes would be interested in this.
Forgotten City?
Oh,
what are you talking about?
Your game.
Yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, dude.
Game corner.
Playing a game. It's playing a new game. Yeah. Dude, I'm sorry. We've been over an hour, so I just kind of.
We're
be like an hour and 20
that was
again.
Perfect.
We're actually under an hour.
David.
I thought that was good.
Yeah,
was it
good.
under an hour?
We're at 58 minutes.
I mean, yeah, okay. Well, yeah,
doesn't matter.
Let's go.
It won't be super long.
Yeah, no, let's talk about the game.
All right, so there's this game. It's called The Forgotten City.
Fuck it, just stop recording.
And stop. It's called The Forgotten City. All right, it came out in 2021. It is a first-person exploration puzzle game that involves, it's a period piece. It takes place in like Rome, sort of, and it's got a time loop. Think Groundhog's Day situation.
I've heard about this. Isn't it a Skyrim mod?
It is a Skyrim mod, which I didn't know.
Wesley, this is
Wesley. Yes.
Yeah. I heard about this game previously. Sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I've never played.
You talking about Enderall?
No, but Enderall is mentioned in the. Did you know that there's
Enderall
over 70
was another spin-off.
over 70,000 mods on Nexus for Skyrim?
Yeah, bro, who are you talking to?
Yeah. So
you know how much I spent more time modding that game
Yeah.
than actually playing the game. Okay.
so this guy, his name's
I learned how to like hack the game files or like play that game.
you have to, yeah. Nick, it's either Pierce or Pearce, Pearce. He's some dude that was working as like a regulation strategist at some big billion-dollar company. I don't know, 10 years of his career, and he was artistically starved. Started getting into modding for Skyrim in 2015. He started doing.
What's his modding name? He usually has like an account. What is it? Do you know?
I wouldn't know. You're gonna have to look that up. But
Sky my rim.
He decided to quit his job. He started the company Modern Storyteller.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. Small company. 4 years they worked on it. Released it in 2001, and obviously it's just a reskin of what? Not Unreal Engine. No, they don't use Unreal Engine. Yeah, it's Unreal Engine 4, Skyrim, but they reskinned it and they retooled it so that it's not exactly the same game. You're not walking around doing the exact same things, but it feels the same and it's just smoother. Looks nice, and it's about a 6 to 10 hour game. It took me about 11 hours. And I really enjoyed it. It got high praised reviews. I would say it's worthy of those. We're looking at like 8s, some 9s out of 10. The whole plot is that you kind of get dropped into the situation. You don't really know who you are or what happened, but then you end up looking for someone, and then you end up in this forgotten city. It's like a lost city in time, like a pocket. Think like a pocket city that was just lost back in the Roman era. And
Enderall kind of had that same vibe as well.
Yeah, I don't know what his mod was called when it first came out. They obviously just completely rehauled it to have it make it its own thing. So then you get there.
I was surprised when I first downloaded Enderall. It was a very different game. Like, it may look and feel a certain way, but the way they
it's its own game.
Things totally different.
Which
totally different.
I wish I could go down that
very
train.
Dark.
Yeah.
It was way darker than Skyrim ever could be.
Oh wow. Yeah, maybe it based off of playing this.
Like Redfall or
yeah, good Redfall Dark, as in their cells.
Redfall Dark.
You get to this city and you find out that there's this thing called the Golden Rule or Golden Law, where if you break one of these rules, everyone dies. Everyone turns to a gold statue. But the problem is that no one actually knows what the Golden Rule is, but they were ordained by some unknown god that rules this place. So
I already know what the answer is. It's the Golden Rules. It's not gay in a 3-way. Like,
yeah.
Justin Timberlake already answered that for us. That is the Golden Rule. So the problem solved. Easy.
You got it. Yeah. So that's the goal. You have to find two other guys
triangle.
to have a gay sex
devil's
with,
triangle,
and you win the game.
Yeah.
But that's it. You kind of just jump into that. You start trying to figure out things for people, and it all wraps up into one big thing. There's a lot of philosophy and conversations about morality and topics in there. It's a more of a talking, walking sim. There is a little bit of small amounts of action, not really any combat or anything, but there's a bit of exploration, a bit of puzzle solving, and overall it was really good. I just finished it this morning. Really satisfying ending too. If there's 4 different endings you can get, I got them all. The fourth one is much more complicated, but very good. So
Like the true ending. as it
the
were.
true, yeah, and it's quite a jump. It's
Yeah.
like they have a little benchmarker where it's like ending 1, 2, 3, and then ending 4 is way out here. Just by the
Yeah.
amount of what you have to do to get it, and the amount of what it gives you as a payoff for like a happy ending, or the canon ending as the achievement calls it. Very much recommend it. I would highly recommend that game if you enjoy
I've had
games like that.
I've had like no time for gaming recently.
Yeah, last thing I'll say is it's this Nick Pierce or Parse. I think he's Australian. Reason being is it was published by some place called Deer Villages, which is a really fucking weird name. They used to be called Plug-in Digital. Or they are called.
I'm sorry.
Plug-in Digital.
I'm still trying to get the Australian. Like, I think he's Australian because of that name. I don't get.
No. He's. I think he's
Deer or-
Australian because it was also funded by the Victorian fucking government. Australia has states, as you know, like provinces. There's 6
I know
of them.
absolutely nothing about Australia.
Yeah, well,
fucking.
do you know about the Canadian
Like,
provinces? How there's like Ontario and Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
like
like
sectionals.
like Canada, yeah.
It's weird
Like, the
thinking
only
of
thing I know
other
about
countries
Canada
having
is that
states.
there's like there's a French side and there's a
Sure.
British side.
Well,
That's pretty much all I know about
A lot of these countries have more or less actual divided states. They're just not as, I guess, prevalent as they
Good.
are in the United States. Sure, yeah. And the Victorian ones in the South, their capital is Melbourne, and they funded his project through a department that they have there. So
Oh.
even the country
That's kinda
was,
cool.
yeah. But I think that whole place is big on promoting their culture through the arts, like that show Bluey.
Bluey
yeah,
is
exactly.
yeah, Bluey's yeah.
State funded. So that's my game corner. Wesley, I don't know if you would be interested in it, but there you have it. It is
Yeah, I'll
associated.
definitely take a look. What's it called again?
The Forgotten City. The Forgotten City. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. What about you, Wes?
Love
What have you
it.
been up to?
I mean,
Besides
just
getting
that,
shafted
fucking
on car
insurance.
registration
Fucking car insurance.
or car
dude.
insurance. Sorry.
Fucking bullshit.
I have the
Registration is a whole
registration,
other
yeah.
pain point.
And you know what?
Well, the
here's
great thing
here's
about
something.
like AAA was that you can actually do most DMV things.
You can do the registration at AAA. That's right.
Well, you can do a lot
Yeah.
more than that too. So that's going to be nice. Because
Oh,
fuck
a
the
whole
DMV.
lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Triple
Hey, look, you guys,
anal.
look, I'm telling you, we have it great in Iowa. My driver's license doesn't expire for 30 years. Everything is
Damn.
done. I have stepped in a DMV one time, and it was to get my Iowa driver's license. Everything else has been done either like through mail and that's it.
Yeah,
And my driver's
California
license
is
expires in
terrible for
30
that
years.
shit, man. I
Yeah,
fucking
fuck
hate
that.
California for all their bullshit. Registering my fucking truck. God.
You know what I hate about the registration?
The first time registering it was like $600.
Ouch.
Like, what am I
Oh,
paying
yeah.
for? Why does it cost me to put data into your computer?
Fuck you,
How does
Wesley.
that work?
That's what you're paying for. Fuck
Fucking
you.
unbelievable.
Damn, dude.
Stupid. Yeah, so there's money. So you quantify the data with money. Cool. That's not crypto. Okay, whatever.
It's for
It's not
they say
something
it's for like the roads. It's for the roads. It's for the cops. It's for everything that gets
Great,
involved
yeah, I
with
want
the
cops knowing
streets
more
for
about me. That's
potholes
amazing.
and
Yeah, they're not getting enough money out of people.
I mean,
they don't
so
get
easy
money
to
from
fucking
tickets apparently.
Bullshit.
Who doesn't?
I don't know, fuck it.
It's
I don't know,
going
fucking
somewhere.
cops. They have
Who doesn't get
quotas,
money for
but
tickets?
The
the
police
police
department. The police
Are
department.
you insane?
They may
Then why
not
would
get
they
the
feel the
money
need to enforce
directly,
them?
but they're clearly getting some
Because-
incentive to do it.
Of course they are.
Well, they have
State-funded.
quotas. They have quotas.
Yeah, because
to
it
do
goes to
but-
the state,
Yes.
and their boss is the state.
Yeah.
Or at least the county.
But they don't get. Cops don't get
Right, they don't
Not
get commission. Is
themselves,
that, that's
no,
what you're
yeah.
saying?
or anything.
Yeah, okay.
But the apparent, well,
Great.
I don't know. You guys seen that John Oliver episode where they were talking about the way that cops get money like that is through seizing funds. It's not from writing tickets.
I don't give a fuck what John
It's
Oliver
from-
thinks about the police.
No, I'm just no.
What the
I'm
fuck
just
does
saying
he know
like
about
that's
the police.
he did like an episode on it. I'm not saying him
What the fuck does
specifically,
that
but
mean? He
like
did an episode on it.
oh Jesus, it's like if
But he's a
someone goes
fucking-
on TV.
he's a fucking internal journalist. He's like going in there.
Yeah, he is. He does
Okay,
journalistic
okay.
shit. Yes, he does.
Okay.
I'm just
I don't know if
saying
I
that
saw that.
they were talking about. Oh, okay. Well,
Go ahead.
if anyone on TV says anything, what the fuck do they know about it? That's all I was trying to say. He was saying that for seizing funds, that's cops get to take that directly for their precinct.
What,
That's
like
where they
bags
That's
of
why
money?
you have a lot of juristic bullshit, like where they like say, "Oh well, you can't. This isn't a bust on your territory; it's on my territory." Like that's why a lot of things don't
I
get
don't
done
know.
in the police world either, is because
I don't know
a lot
if
of
that happens.
it does happen.
Does
He
that
I've
saw
seen
it in a
Does that
movie,
happen?
dude.
Yes.
He saw it in
Are
an
you
Eddie
kidding
Yeah,
me?
that
Murphy
sounds
movie.
like
They're little
that's-
gangs,
that's-
dude. The police department are gangs. They're not real fucking
Oh.
altruistic people.
Like I didn't see John Oliver talk about that, so I don't think it's real.
Of course not. Yeah.
Eddie Murphy did it. So it's true.
Yeah, David loves the police for some reason. Okay.
I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with the police. Like I'll say that if there's a cop behind me or if I see a cop, I watch them. Like I watch my speed. I watch them.
Okay.
I make like I'm wary that they're gonna pull me over for bullshit.
Same.
That being said, if I see a cop in like a store or something, I don't give a shit. Just
Right.
like okay, whatever. There's a cop there.
Yeah.
But cops
But that's
on
why you gotta
roads,
talk.
those
That's
give
why you got to
me
talk to
ang-
them indiscriminately. Like last time I got pulled over, I just said just straight out that I didn't do any of the things that he was accusing me of.
And that's what I would say if I got pulled over again. But
So I didn't get a ticket. He's like, "Hey, why'd you? Do you think you almost ran that? You think you ran that red light?" And I just looked at straight in the eyes and I was like, "No."
No,
And he was like, "Oh, really? Really? Did I tell you about this?"
I know it.
No. Actually, you did. You did tell us
Yeah.
about this. You're talking about yeah. Just recently,
idiot.
actually, yeah. Yeah. Well,
I was gonna say what I hate about car registration is how mine's due in June, but they're by January, late January, early February, they're already sending me emails, notices, flyers up the wazoo, trying to get me to get my registration. And I think it's because they want
it
your.
takes that long.
No, it doesn't. You can go into their building and use a kiosk and be done in less than an hour.
Oh.
Yeah. I
Well,
think
that's
they
great.
want your
Well, that's the
money
thing.
early
Like, in my
because they
opinion-
invest it. It's like having money
my
in a
opinion-
savings account.
Anyone in the DMV, their job
maybe.
can be replaced with a kiosk.
Yeah.
Like they have kiosks in stores now where you can just do your registration.
I think the main thing with the DMV, or if I were to like try to put my finger on what's going on with it, is that they're notaries. That would be my only justification for a person to do something, is that they have to notarize whatever documents they have.
Okay.
And you can't do that through a kiosk. Like you need to have a person
Human
watch
witness.
you sign something, notarize it, as a witness, and then put it through. That's the only reason why I can justify in my mind to have a person, is that they're notaries, and why it would cost so much money, because notaries are expensive. Well,
More so than they
relatively.
should be. Yeah. To have someone
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
you sign something, they're fucking expensive, especially if you have them
Yeah.
travel to you.
well, you're paying for their
You're paying for
you're paying for someone's
certification.
integrity. Essentially,
validation,
that's what you're
yeah.
doing. Is
Oh,
how much
humans'
money does
integrity?
it cost? Yeah, that's what it is. That's what a notary
like
is, right? How
sending
much
your
would it cost for
Charizard
you
in.
to say that this thing actually happened? That's how
Yeah,
much. It's
so
like,
how much
it'll-
money can I give
it'll-
them on
it'll
the side
cost-
to say what I actually want them to say?
Right. Well, I don't know the penalties for notary fraud, but I know you can't be a notary anymore. If you're
I would
caught-
assume.
Oh
Like,
no!
yeah.
So you have to be a
Like,
good.
you're
So
not
you have to be a
allowed.
good liar, essentially. Okay.
Well, that's the recipe for success for anyone, not just a notary, is to be a good liar. You got the shit figured out.
I don't know if you could have a whole like Better Call Saul series off of a fraudulent notarist. Maybe it's not enough to work with there.
I think the only time I ever heard of a fraudulent notary that was like a big deal was in one of those crime documentaries.
Oh,
And they had found out as they were doing their investigation that a notary had forged it. Essentially, the notary had been paid like $5,000
right.
to forge their stamp. So it was not that someone else took it. It's like, hey, we know that this, and it was some old dude that had been murdered, and they had paid the notary to notarize him signing over like his life insurance or something.
Right.
And through this whole investigation, they found out there is no way that he was alive when this happened. And they went back to the notary and
Pressured him.
essentially cornered the person and to
Killed him.
What is that? What do they do when they cut a deal?
Settled.
They settled saying, I don't want any
like
jail
the Trump
time.
Show, Deal or No Deal.
Compromise.
Yes.
Yeah. Shark Tank.
Yeah, exactly like that. Yeah. Shark Tank. Yeah.
You got a good idea?
No, yeah.
How to solve this case?
Yeah. But yeah, so they ended up cutting the deal and not going to jail. But that's the only time I've ever heard of like a big case of notary fraud.
And then the FBI hired him on as a consultant for fraudulent notarists, and just
Tom
like
Hanks was
catch,
involved.
yeah, I got Catch Me If You Can. He just couldn't quit.
That's a great movie, by the way. If you haven't seen Catch Me If You Can, but that's a good Leonardo DiCaprio,
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. It's a good. I don't even know what those kinds of movies are called, like the chase, like The Fugitive, like those kind of movies where they're always constantly on the run, or
It's
they're
not really a drama,
like someone's being chased,
or adventure,
Gotta
or
be some
action.
Kind of
What kind of drama?
movies called?
We gotta look that up. Catch
I don't know.
Me
There's
If
no way I'm
You
gonna find
Can.
it.
We're gonna look this up. It's gonna be a
2003.
biography.
When did it come out?
It's
2004.
Yeah. I think it's
What year
You're
did it come
guessing? You have the internet.
I'm not. Oh, I'm guessing. I wanted to see if I was right. I know I have the internet, but he has it pulled up. I was trying to be cool. No,
pull up.
Catch me
You're
if
not
you
the
can.
cool. You're not the cool Weldon. We've already established that long ago.
I know. Look, don't you fucking dox me, Wesley. We just went over this, okay?
It's a
Weldon, what do you mean?
biographical
You confirmed the docs, not
crime
me.
Oh, you
comedy
confirmed the
drama.
doc.
There you go.
Comedy drama.
Crime comedy.
Even though it's like a
drama.
legitimate like
Biographical.
story that actually all happened.
I mean, it
Not-
happened, but did it?
I don't think it did.
Yes, of course.
No, it did happen.
That was a
It
real
is. It is a real
person.
guy. It is a real guy,
DiCaprio
but
played a guy who was like the best at counterfeit checking fraud and shit, and then they.
it's like
in
how
order to, like-
much of it
in
was
order to,
true.
like-
That's the.
Well, of course. I mean, look, he worked for the FBI.
I know.
So a
That's
lot
the
of
question.
it's true.
Well, that's the question. He did. That was right though, Wesley. Right? He did work for the FBI. That was an actual.
Because
that
he
was
went to
actually
jail.
what
He
happened.
went
Well,
to
that's what they
prison,
say
and they
at
were
the
like,
end.
"Hey, if you want out of prison, work for us to catch more check frauds." And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, at the end of the film, it has one of those just text floating over. It's like
That's right.
so and so, the
Yeah.
real guy, actually ended up working. This really
I mean,
happened.
a lot of hackers do the same thing to escape jail time. They do the same thing.
Yeah, like a Hugh Jackman.
Gray hat
Or he did the
hackers,
same
white hat
thing.
hackers.
What was that movie called? Shark? Not shark.
Swordfish.
Fish.
Swordfish.
Swordfish.
Fish. Yes.
Yeah, Swordfish. The Halle
Where he got-
Berry's.
Yeah.
Where he got blown
when-
while hacking a computer.
Yeah,
It's the
still
best
hacking
scene
a
ever.
computer. Who was the antagonist or like the? Was that? It wasn't
John
Val Kilmer.
Travolta.
John Travolta.
John Travolta.
Nicolas
That's who it was.
Cage.
Dude, I
That's
always
when he
I
started wearing
always
toupees and shit.
Yes.
He wasn't quite out of
The
the
hairline is
closet
too strong,
yet.
John. It's too much. There's too much hairline there.
No, he's
Yeah.
good. Well, I've been having some times with
Gay sex.
with the huh?
What?
Say
What'd
what?
you say? Piece of shit. What did you say? Okay.
Shebex says what?
No, I was just saying with the kid right now, we think she has asthma. Tina has asthma. Her dad has had asthma before, so there's asthma on their side of the family, and she's been waking up at night every 2 hours coughing.
Damn.
And it's been about a month. So we took her to the pediatrician 2 days ago.
Is it not related to what happened to your wife?
What happened to her?
Sounds like
Didn't she have some
she
rest
was
report?
she was like, I've been sick for forever. I don't know
Because
what
of
it
those
is.
fucking mushrooms growing in her house.
Oh no, that was all. No, all this stuff happened after all that, and she wasn't even here for it. So no, it wasn't anything with like the mold or anything like that. She just she took her in and then had her test everything, and there's nothing wrong with her except for a history of asthma. So we got an inhaler. And then I guess there's like this face mask that they put on for young kids because you're supposed to breathe into an inhaler. I've never had asthma before.
They don't know how to do it.
And then you hold it. Yeah, they don't know. So you put it over a mask, and then she just like sits there and breathes in for 10 seconds.
I had a friend at that age, a young age, who had to do that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, the problem with doing it for her sleeping at night though is it's a steroid. So
so she stays up.
Like she'll do it, and then she's gonna be like blasted.
Yeah.
We haven't done it yet, but that's what we're doing right now.
Just get her some like
not a lot of sleep and
a little baby weight set, and just have her start pumping iron. two birds,
steroids.
one scone.
All right, so we good? We got the
We're
stuff?
good. Yeah, we're good.
Oh yeah. Thanks for sticking around too. If you're listening through here and.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around and listening. And we'll catch you next week. Pretty good.
Peace.